Caracas, Venezuela, a city that has known splendor, turbulence, resilience, and rebirth, sits cradled between the dramatic folds of the Avila Mountain and the restless energy of the Caribbean Sea. If cities had souls, Caracas's would be both poetic and complex, marked by rhythm, laughter, and the echoes of history that still hum through its streets. From a distance, the skyline rises like an intricate mosaic. Glass towers side by side with weathered colonial buildings, and beyond them, lush green peaks that seem to guard the city. Step into its heart, and Caracas reveals itself as more than Venezuela's capital. It is a living story of beauty, struggle, and the unshakable spirit of its people. Founded in 1567 by the Spanish conquistador Diego de Losada, Caracas began as a modest colonial outpost. Yet even in those early years, it was a city that stood at the crossroads of cultures. European settlers, indigenous peoples, and African influences mingled here, leaving their marks on language, cuisine, and traditions. The city's location, tucked away in a valley but close to the coast, made it both strategic and vulnerable. From colonial skirmishes to pirate raids, Caracas grew up learning to adapt. Over centuries, it transformed from a Spanish colonial capital into a bustling modern metropolis. Today, Caracas is home to over 2 million people within its urban boundaries, though the greater metropolitan area swells to more than 5 million. It's a city of contrasts, glassy business districts standing in view of colorful hillside barrios, high-end shopping centers just a short drive from open-air markets. These contrasts are not just physical, they are economic, social, and cultural. They are what make Caracas both fascinating and complex. The heartbeat of the city pulses strongest in Plaza Bolívar, the historical and symbolic center of Caracas. Here stands a statue of Simón Bolívar, the liberator himself, framed by colonial-era buildings like the Caracas Cathedral and the Government Palace. Wander the surrounding streets and you'll encounter layers of history. Arcades with old Spanish-style balconies, tucked-away cafes serving strong Venezuelan coffee, and bookstores selling both revolutionary literature and rare poetry collections. Culture here isn't confined to museums, though Caracas has some spectacular ones like the Museo de Arte Contemporáneo, which houses works by Picasso, Miró, and Botero, and the Museo Bolivariano, dedicated to Venezuela's independence hero. Culture spills onto the streets in music, in murals splashed across concrete walls, and in the way vendors call out their goods in local slang. Even amid economic challenges, art has remained a form of resistance and pride. Economically, Caracas has seen highs and lows that few cities could imagine. In the mid to late 20th century, Venezuela's oil wealth transformed Caracas into one of Latin America's most modern and prosperous capitals. The oil boom brought soaring skyscrapers, luxury hotels, and a nightlife that drew celebrities and dignitaries from around the world. But as the decades passed, political turmoil, economic mismanagement, and shifting oil prices reshaped the city's fortunes. Today, the economy of Caracas, and Venezuela as a whole, is in a state of ongoing transformation. Inflation, shortages, and currency instability have presented challenges, but there's another side to the story. In recent years, a growing informal economy, new entrepreneurial ventures, and an increase in dollar-based transactions have created pockets of stability and opportunity. In the city center, you might see luxury boutiques selling imported goods right next to small shops, bartering in both bolivars and US dollars. Housing in Caracas reflects the same diversity and disparity found in the city's streets. In upscale neighborhoods like Altamira, Las Mercedes, and El Rosal, you'll find sleek high-rise apartments with panoramic views of the Avila, complete with 24-hour security, pools, and fitness centers. These areas have become magnets for the country's business elite, diplomats, and returning expatriates. A two-bedroom apartment in such areas might rent for $800 to $2,500 per month, with purchase prices rising sharply in recent years due to a shift toward dollarized real estate transactions. In contrast, middle-class neighborhoods such as Los Chaguaramos or Belo Monte offer more affordable options, often with older but spacious apartments in tree-lined streets. At the other end of the spectrum, the hillside barrios, colorful, tightly packed communities like Petare, tell a different housing story, one shaped by resilience and community bonds more than by market trends. These neighborhoods, often built informally over decades, are vibrant in their own right, with local markets, churches, and social centers forming the backbone of daily life. The economic challenges of recent years have led many to explore creative housing solutions, from co-living arrangements to revitalizing older properties in the historic center. Foreign investors and Venezuelans living abroad have also begun purchasing property in anticipation of future recovery, injecting new interest into the market. Yet, if Caracas is to be understood fully, it must be experienced beyond the numbers. It's in the morning rush of people lining up at arepa stands, grabbing these cornmeal pockets stuffed with cheese, meat, or avocado before heading to work. It's in the afternoon air, thick with the scent of empanadas frying in street stalls. And it's in the quiet beauty of an evening spent watching the sun sink behind the Avila, painting the sky in pinks and golds. Caracas is a city of parks and plazas that offer escapes from the urban intensity. The most famous is El Ávila National Park, officially known as Guaraíra Rapano. Rising like a green wall between Caracas and the Caribbean, it offers hiking trails, cable car rides, and breathtaking views of both the city and the sea. Locals and visitors alike come here to breathe fresh air, picnic, and take in the vast sweep of the valley below. The city also loves its sports, especially baseball, Venezuela's national pastime. The Caracas Leones, the city's professional baseball team, has a devoted following, and games are events filled with music, food, and contagious energy. Football, soccer, is gaining ground too, with passionate fans turning stadiums into seas of color on match days. Caracas's culinary scene is both deeply traditional and unexpectedly cosmopolitan. While the heart of Venezuelan cuisine beats in arepas, empanada shops, and street food stalls, you'll also find high-end restaurants experimenting with fusion flavors. Chefs are rediscovering indigenous ingredients like yucca, plantain, and cacao, and reinventing them for modern palates. Don't leave without trying pabellón criollo, a dish of shredded beef, black beans, rice, and fried plantains that tells the story of Venezuela on a single plate. Nightlife in Caracas is a study in contrast. In Las Mercedes, clubs and bars hum with salsa, reggaeton, and electronic beats well into the early hours. Elsewhere, intimate live music venues showcase folk, jazz, and traditional llanero music. Even in a city that has faced its share of challenges, the desire to celebrate, dance, and connect never truly fades. Education has long been a point of pride for Caracas. The Central University of Venezuela, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is not just an academic institution, but also an architectural landmark. Designed by Carlos Raúl Villanueva, the campus blends modernist structures with art by Alexander Calder, Jean Arp, and Victor Vasarely. Other respected institutions include Simón Bolívar University and the Andrés Bello Catholic University, producing graduates who are now working across the globe. Transportation in Caracas has evolved over the years. The Caracas Metro, inaugurated in 1983, remains one of the cleanest and most efficient in Latin America, though it has faced maintenance challenges. Buses, colectivos, shared taxis, and mototaxis fill in the gaps, and traffic, like in many big cities, is a daily reality. For those traveling to and from the city, Simón Bolívar International Airport in Maiquetía connects Caracas to destinations across the Americas, Europe, and beyond. Despite all its complexities, Caracas is a city that leaves a mark. It's a place where resilience is not just a survival strategy, but a cultural trait. Whether you're sipping a thick, sweet papelón con limón, a drink made from raw sugar cane and lime, on a hot afternoon, or listening to the hum of life from a balcony as the city lights begin to twinkle, you can feel that Caracas is more than a collection of buildings and streets. It is a city that has learned to dance in the rain, sometimes literally during sudden tropical downpours, and to find joy in small, everyday victories. For visitors, Caracas offers both caution and reward. It asks you to approach with awareness, but it gives back with warmth, hospitality, and experiences that linger long after you leave. It's a city where every conversation can open a window into history, every meal can tell a story, and every street corner holds a surprise. In the end, Caracas is like Venezuela itself, rich in natural beauty, layered in culture, challenged by circumstance, but always somehow moving forward. For those willing to look beyond the headlines, it offers a glimpse into the resilience of the human spirit and the vibrant heart of a people who refuse to be defined by hardship alone. So, if you ever find yourself standing in Plaza Bolívar, the Avila towering above you, and the city sprawling out in every direction, take a deep breath. Listen to the sounds, the vendors, the music, the chatter, and feel the pulse of Caracas. It may be complex, it may be unpredictable, but it is above all unforgettable.